Had too much salt applied, you got a surface that's 10 years old, 20 years old, is just beginning to look faded, and you just want to bring it back to life a little bit, you want to smooth it out, Flo-Coat Concrete Resurfacer is the product. Flo-Coat is designed to be used on slabs that are structurally sound. If you've got a concrete slab that is a disaster, it's broken, it's in many, many pieces, there's stones popping out, the cure for that is called a jackhammer. There's nothing's going to fix that. Flo-Coat won't fix it. Nothing will fix that. As long as your slab is in good shape, it's intact, it's an excellent product for that. If your slab, let's say your slab has some cracks in it, what you want to do is repair the cracks first. You can use the Flo-Coat. Now you're going to see here in a minute when Lee pours this out, this is a very fluid material. It's not a true self-leveler, but it is a very fluid product. What I would do if I had some cracks is I would widen the cracks depending on what size they are. I would take the same material, I would mix it up a little stiffer, I would fix it with a trowel, and I would fix those cracks first. Then I would apply this. Lee, why don't you go ahead and pour that out. Mike's going to come over here. And there's really kind of a couple of ways to do this. First, you'll see that right now Mike in his hand has got a gauge rake. For those of you who are in the flooring business, you're familiar with gauge rakes. You just set the cam on either side, give you the exact same distance. If you don't happen to have a gauge rake, however, you can use a trowel. So Mike's going to shift over here now just to grab a trowel. Grab a squeegee. The thing that I really like about this product, I've been playing with concrete for a lot of years now. And the difficulty that I have with my age and my knees and my back is I'm really tired of getting down on my hands and knees to do any kind of repairs. The nice thing about this squeegee is it allows you can see Mike is able to just kind of pull that. He's not getting down on his hands and knees. And the nice thing about that is how much territory you can cover in a relatively short period of time. If you were going to do this, I can personally cover a pretty good sized slab as long as somebody else is doing the mixing and I'm running either the gauge or the squeegee. I can cover a very large area in a fairly short period of time. Need to pour a little more in there maybe?
Yep, that's what I was thinking. I was just going to tell you that.
The coverage on this, we had that gauge rake set at 1/8 of an inch. The coverage at 1/8 of an inch for a 40-pound bag is about 36 square feet. That means you're looking at about 50 cents a square foot for the material itself. The labor, the time that it takes to do it, very, very quick. Now at the moment we have this a little bit on the stiffer side, and the reason we do is so that we don't make a huge mess. If you're doing a job, you're out on the job site and you've got a nice flat surface, I would wet it up a little bit more than this and let it flow. If you've got a surface that you're doing that's got some pitch to it, let's say you're doing a driveway, patios tend to be flat, but driveways often have quite a slant to them. What you want to do then is either one, stiffen it up, or two, go ahead and wet it up, but before you pour it out, let it stiffen in the container. Now it's not a fast setting material, but it will most certainly begin to stiffen up after about 15 or 20 minutes. Now if you'll notice, Mike is continuing to work on this, and each time he does, it has self-healing properties. The material's kind of flowing back in on itself, so when he's done, you won't see squeegee marks, you wouldn't see gauge rake marks. If you're doing a large job, if you'll notice when Mike picks that squeegee up, there's a little bit dropping off of there. If you were doing a real big job, periodically I would take a rag or something and clean that off. The product is about a 4,500 PSI material, so it's plenty strong. It is designed for use in, I would say, in residential areas, driveways. That's pretty good, Mike. I think that'll do the trick. I would not use it in an area where you're going to put heavy industrial traffic in a warehouse, like with a forklift or something. But for homes where you're pouring, something subject to light car traffic, light truck traffic, an excellent material. The preparation, I was talking with this gentleman before we got started, and the preparation required for this, if your driveway or your slab is really in good shape, then what I would do is I would simply use a garden hose. If you got something you need to get up, you got sap, you got oil, you got that sort of thing, then I would consider pressure washing before I would do that. So there's really two ways to do this. One is just if you're just trying to cover and you do it like this. Now if you want to really make it look nicer, you want to make a concrete slab look like it has, like it's a paver patio, then you can spray the material. Mike and Lee right now, go ahead gentlemen, we're going to spray this material. I mentioned earlier, some of you weren't here, these boards that over here, there's 3 boards right over here. If you look at the far side of those when you leave, you'll see the finished product for what Lee is going to do right now. Simply taking a spray gun that is really designed for shooting plaster on walls, but we've taken it, we've turned the nozzle so that it sprays down, and Lee is using a circular motion and is simply spraying the stencil that we have there. After he's done, we're going to pull that stencil. Now the nice thing about this, the coverage out of a 40-pound bag by spraying like this is between 150 and 180 square feet. That's a lot of coverage. When you look at it that way, the raw material cost is only about 10 to 12 cents. A fairly economical way to do this. That's an iron oxide pigment. We sell a half a dozen different colors. The nice thing about this is you'll see some of the ones that Lee did in the back are very creative. He has used different colors, he's used multiple colors, he's done all sorts of different things. Lee, I don't know whether it's possible for you to stand up there and tilt that board up. Is that for the folks in the back to be able to see a little bit? This is something that is easy to do, it's economical to do. You can make the material looser or tighter depending on what kind of look you want. Right now you can see we've got kind of some little larger blobs. You can put it back down. All right, stand it up against the, very good. You can see on there there's like some blotches. We did that intentionally. If you didn't want those, you can make the material a little bit looser. You're really only limited to your imagination. You can use different colors. Unfortunately, because of our limited space here, we weren't able to do this, but one of the things that can be done is now to immediately take another color and spray on top of it using a much lighter pattern than what Lee did here where he saturated the whole thing. If you do that, you'll see that on those boards back there. It really makes it pop when you put a second color on.
Larger blobs.
Yeah, if you're doing Lee's pointing out those larger globs are a little better if you're doing what we call a knockdown, where we're just going to grab it with a squeegee and just pull it down. The gizmo that we're using right over there is that hopper is available in a number of places. You can get it at Depot, you can get it at Lowe's. Some hardware stores have it. Craft Tool Company has it just right down the aisle here. It's not hard to get a hold of. They're in the $50 range. So you're not talking about an expensive proposition here. For taking a surface, a worn, tired concrete surface, and turning it into something that looks like that, there's really not a lot of time and not a lot of expense. Fairly easy to do.